Hey everybody, it's Qqcknd and welcome back to another episode of I Look Really Tan. Hey everybody, it's Qqcknd and welcome back to another episode of Tattoo Talk Tuesday. This is my first time filming with professional lights. Quasi-professional because they're from Amazon, but professional lights nonetheless. Let me know how all this makes you feel, because I don't know how it makes me feel. I need someone on the internet to let me know. So I get a ton of questions every day, every episode, every video I post, every day of my life about styles of tattoos, specifically what kind of style of tattoo I have, what kind of styles are out there. One question was just like, please talk about tattoo styles. And I am here to let you know what those styles are and what my styles are. So as a tattoo collector, Tattoo Talk Tuesday is a series where I get to interact with you guys with user-submitted questions and Q&A kind of answers directly about tattoos and tattoo-related things from me to you. Not to say I'm a professional of anything at all in life, but I like this interactive series. Let me know, give this video a thumbs up if you love Tattoo Talk Tuesday, and let's get started. So, as a person who has a lot of tattoos, I don't have a lot of different kinds of tattoos. I have a couple different variations of traditional tattoos, but primarily I have traditional, American traditional tattoos. What are these, and what are some kind of often confusing things that come along with this? In common speech, I like to say that these are like sailor tattoos, and why did I decide to get them? I think that traditional tattoos, have very clean, bold lines, and I think that they have pretty simple art and imagery, which I think is really eye-catching, especially if you're like me and you don't really like people coming up to you and looking at your tattoos. I feel like I get away with a lot of really simple glances and not a lot of let me look at your arm for 25 minutes to see the subtleties. I picked these because I believe that they will age well, and I also think that they are just a beautiful extension of my body. I think they go well with clothing, I think they go well just in my everyday life, and I think they look like me. I don't know. I think that they're great. So I don't really have many more intricate tattoos beyond traditional tattoos. And even when I had some script that went across my arm, I felt like a lot of the time people were coming up to me and trying to read it, and it made me crazy. It is like 50% the reason that I had it removed, because people trying to read my tattoos made me crazy. But somebody, if they want to creep on me, oh, that's a bird. Done. I had a woman once when I worked at the coffee shop reach over the counter, "Miss, my husband's just trying to read your tattoo." "Oh, I'm sorry, that's personal." And she was like, "This is easier for me." Plus, I don't really have many other things that I would like to get tattooed. On my wish list, I did used to have, I wanted to get like a Roman statue tattooed, and I wanted it to look like semi-realism, but still with traditional elements. I don't know if I'd ever get that, because I wanted it on my ribs, and no more rib tattoos. Did it, it's done. Some other tattoos that I have that maybe border the line of not being traditional, I have my shark tattoo, which I would say is more new school, mixed with like a little bit of realism, with traditional bold line elements, and that's what I like. I love a bold line. That is what I go for with my tattoos, because the bold will hold and all that stuff. And then I have some tattoos that are black and gray that kind of look a little bit like a little West Coast style. The tattoo I just got with Holly, I have a vlog all about Holly and I getting matching tattoos. I would say has a little bit of an element of West Coast, which I brought up in the consultation. I don't know if I say that in the video, I might, but I did say that I wanted it to be a little bit West Coast. And then that was done by Mike Ski. I really like West Coast tattoos. I would definitely get more of them. I think that they have traditional elements of their own, and I think that it's super great. And Other than that, I have my tattoo by Derek Hooper. I have many videos about this subject. It was very celebrated when Derek Hooper came to Philadelphia, so I actually messaged him and asked him if I could feature him in this Tattoo Talk Tuesday, just because why not get it straight from him? And I did get a message on Tumblr that was like, hey, would you ever interview your favorite tattoo artist? And I remember thinking, like, Mark Cross wouldn't really like that. But I have a ton of favorite tattoo artists, so when I messaged Derek, I was a little anxious, but he was like, yeah. Then he sent me a picture of his cat. So I messaged Derek and I said something along the lines of, hey, like, what kind of style tattooing do you think that you do? I believe that your tattoo on me really sticks out and it has a different style to it, but I wouldn't necessarily call it traditional tattooing. I'd like to think that I stick to a style, but I always feel like my tattoos don't necessarily end up with any rigid formula that makes them all come out looking a specific way. It's something I'm working on, but it is very hard to figure out. So Derek said, obviously, I would say that everything is based on a foundation of traditional principles, but in a more contemporary sense. I've seen the word contemporary traditional used before, but I generally use the term traditional when I tell people what kind of tattoos I do. But it's definitely not classic or anything, which would be the recycled images with a 5-color palette, black, yellow, brown, and green. So I said, that's awesome. I wanted to ask you because the tattoo you gave me is so different from the other tattoos I have, but it doesn't stick out or seem out of place on my leg. It's very unique, and traditional didn't seem like the right word for it. So I said, do you get a lot of clients asking you for classic traditional tattoos, or do you feel like people are starting to stray from that style? People in tattooing use buzzwords to talk to clients so often that we rarely come up with new words for styles. So our word bank is very lacking in providing new descriptions for tattoo styles. People just ask for traditional tattoos, mostly in a very open-ended way using the terms. I said, that's interesting. I've never heard of that. So traditional is a buzzword? He said, there are some really awesome people that do classic stuff and do new stuff with it, so I don't think strict classic is going anywhere. I finally asked him, is there a certain style of tattooing you prefer to see on yourself? And he said, I definitely try to stick to traditional artists when I collect. Not specifically classic, but traditional approaches. Thanks, Derek, for letting me talk to you, and when I asked him what these traditional buzzwords necessarily mean, he said oftentimes clients will think of traditional tattoo elements, like things that have been tattoos. Like he, for example, used the word anchor. He said that a lot of people will come and ask for an anchor, but they're not necessarily looking for a traditional anchor, like something I would wear, but maybe even a new school or a portrait style, things like that. So I think that traditional does get thrown out there a lot, but it's not always necessarily traditional tattoos. So I think it's really interesting that Derek can call himself like contemporary traditional and still seek tattoos that are similar to me and have traditional approaches. I think that's exactly what I do too. For me, why I chose traditional tattooing, my very first tattoo, which seems like a topic that people are obsessed with. They're obsessed with my first tattoo. And I try to nicely say that I don't like my first tattoo and I'm having it actively removed. Actually, in the shirt, you can kind of see it. So, hey guys. So the thing about my first tattoo is it was a portrait style black and gray tattoo, and I will include photos. The thing about this tattoo is I can see the imperfections and I can see that they're hidden in this sort of style, and I believe that portraits can be done amazingly. I think there are people out there who are doing the damn thing, but for me, it was already a bad experience with my first tattoo because I believe that there are things that are wrong with it, but they're hidden in the light kind of shading and the gray wash and everything like that. I don't know professional words. I'm not a professional tattoo artist. But I do know that I was never happy with that tattoo. And I think portrait tattoos require a lot of research to get done very well. And I think that there are a lot of portrait artists doing their thing on the West Coast. And for me, I think that East Coast traditional tattoos are something that I really like. Would I ever get a portrait tattoo? I have no idea. Like I said, I always had the kind of daydream that I would get that kind of stylized statue tattoo, but it never happened. And all of my tattoos that I have planned in my head for 2016 are also all classic traditional tattoos with the limited color palette, like not too much attention to shading and not crazy detail. And that's what I like, and that's what I like to wear. And I can try to figure out all the reasons I do like these things, but at the end of the day, I really like the way they look, and I really like the way they come out, and I love the heavy saturation of color, and that's something I really like and can really happily explore. Other than that, really limitedly, I have some Roman numeral tattoos, and I also have this kind of new school tattoo, and then I have a couple of like DIY at home tattoos, and I featured the one tattoo in Tattoos I Forgot I Have on a public record episode of that, and I also have a public record episode of Stick and Poke's Show and Tell. Those are both great videos to check out if you haven't. They go by pretty quickly. Honestly, almost like 100%, maybe not this one. This one doesn't really fit any sort of category. Off the top of my head, tattoo categories, there's new school, which I really don't have any really new school tattoos. They're just kind of not my feel. But I know that there are artists out there doing the damn thing. Portrait, black and gray, but I wouldn't say black and gray is necessarily like its own category, because there's people who do new school black and gray, portrait black and gray, traditional black and gray. But then, you know, there's some people who get their entire body done in black and gray, and I think that that's super cool too. The tattoos that I have, I think, are lit. And then there are realism tattoos. I don't have any realism tattoos at all, like portrait realism and all of that stuff. I don't have any of those tattoos. I think that those kind of tattoos take a lot of research to approach and a very specific kind of artist to do well, and I don't have any of those tattoos. I don't have anyone in mind to do a tattoo like that, and I don't really have much of an interest, because I think the people who have them, like, do it well, and I don't have any of those. But you see the people who have only portrait tattoos and only tattoos of, like, people and celebrities and their parents and people who influence them, and my personality isn't necessarily like that. I think a lot of my influences come from experience, and I don't really have a lot of idols or fandoms, so I think that's where my personality kind of dictates the kind of tattoos I have, and I don't really have any people like that. One tattoo style I am looking forward to getting, though, is some script. I'm looking forward to getting some script. I have very limited script tattoos right now. Most of them, like all of them done by like Mike Ski. I'm looking forward to getting some like really like Philly script tattoos. I'm trying to get my grandmother's name like pretty big, like above my knee, like really hella. So if you know any script tattoo artists in Philadelphia, I want it to be truly Philly. But yeah, I could go on forever. I should have wrote some stuff down. But this is Tattoo Talk Tuesday. Let me know how you feel about Tattoo Talk Tuesday. Subscribe and stay tuned for every episode, every week from now on. I love you guys so much. Thank you. And you can always subscribe to my Instagram if you're trying to. I love you guys so much. Until next week, stay tuned for 5 Fact Friday, a new vlog where I met Mikey from Glam and Gore. And do I keep going with Vlogmas? Anyway, I love you guys so much. Until next time, bye.